Hello, you're in the field, and I'm Derek Brooke. So, here in Michigan, I was always led to believe that a very large portion, like 80% of the cost of my hunting licenses went right back into the wildlife that I hunt. That's simply not the case, and it's not even close to that. So, the DNR is funded, the Michigan website here that I'm looking at, the michigan.gov/DNR, and it talks about funding. It doesn't list the actual percentage of funds that come from hunting and fishing licenses, or even hunting licenses specifically, but it doesn't even break it down. Like, it breaks it down in only 3 categories, and they're really wide ranging categories. What it does say is that the primary source of revenue from, how do they even break this down? Like, it's a government website, so it's confusing. They could just break it down specifically. This much percentage comes from hunting licenses, this much from fishing licenses, this much from state funds, but they don't. The biggest chunk of the pie here is 64%, and you can go to this website. I'll link it down below and you can look at it. Somewhere they must break it down more than this, but I'm not digging through the annoying website to find out. So I'll give you their synopsis here. State restricted funds. And it's 64% of the pie, which it was $340.4 million. And of that 64%, the total funds is $535.5 million. And so 64% of that, which is about $340 million, is in the state restricted funds, whatever state restricted funds means. And of that, the primary source, it says here, comes from license fees. So it doesn't actually list what percentage it is here unless it's hiding, but you guys can look through this and tell me what it actually is, I'm sure. So any of you internet sleuths who want to go digging, you can look into that. But the gist is that the primary source of income, a large portion of the DNR's income, comes from your and my licenses, both hunting and fishing licenses. That's the majority of their income, and that part of what I've always been told is true. But of every dollar that the DNR spends, 91% of it does not go to the wildlife you and I hunt. That's vastly different from what I was always led to believe. Less than 9%, 9 cents to every dollar. 9 cents to every dollar? That's insane. And that's not even their pie chart here. You can go look at it on the website. Of the pie chart, they don't even list game species separately. They list wildlife. And that part could be both non-game and game species. So they don't actually break it down. Somewhere, I'm sure they break it down, but here on this webpage, they don't break it down any further than that. So less than 9% goes to the wildlife you and I hunt. And more than 91% of it doesn't. That's insane. Then I feel like I've been lied to my whole life, because I was always told that my licenses went to help the wildlife I hunt. That's always what I was told. And it's not true. What does it go to? It goes, so a quarter of it goes to parks and recreation, which is, I don't know. I don't want to diss the parks and recreation, but hunters don't use parks and recreation. Wildlife don't use parks and recreation. And in a lot of ways, these are the things that, feed the dumpsters at the campground that feed, the coons and the seagulls and the crows. The things that nobody really cares about, nor do they need help protecting or feeding. I'm not a big fan of a huge percentage of my hunting licenses going to something that doesn't help wildlife, and it doesn't help hunters, and it helps people who aren't hunters and who usually aren't happy about people hunting. I won't say they're all anti-hunters, but they aren't necessarily pro-hunter. They're the hippies that go to the parks and, smoke their joint and call it nature loving.
And what's your forest name?
And that's the percentage. 24% goes to that. And you can combine a bunch of these other things of the pie chart, and you come close to another quarter of it with just executive type, office departments and managements and information technology and communication and customer service department initiatives. I don't even know what that is, and then there's a huge one-time op-eds here That's another 9%, which is, they don't even list what the one-time op-ends is. Oh, and then they list as an expense 12% for the forest resources, which I thought the forest resources brought in money. Why are they spending money on something that's supposed to grow for itself and get cut down for money? I don't know where they spend all that money on. Someone in there might know. If you do, kindly comment and let us know what they're spending this money on. I always thought, the DNR logged woods, which is good for the wildlife, it's good for the woods, and they took that money and they used it to promote the woods more. They didn't expend more money than they took in. See, that was the thinking that I had mistakenly thought. I should have known the DNR would be, spending extra money instead of just spending what they have taking in from this. But maybe that's the case. Maybe they do take in a lot of money, and it might say here. So I could be wrong. Let me know kindly if I am.
Listen, you little wiseacre. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong.
This is still baffling to me. This specifically has brought my concept of the DNR's usefulness down lower than it ever was. And it wasn't very high to begin with. Because think about it for a second with me. The DNR exists to sustain wildlife. Life that finds its own food, life that finds its own shelter, life that finds its own water, life that reproduces itself on its own, zero inputs. What exactly does the DNR need money for if all of these things take care of themselves? Why are they siphoning your and my money out for something they don't put any expenses into?
I'm all out of money!
And what exactly are they spending on it? When you really stop to think about what it is that the DNR has to do to sustain wildlife, they shouldn't have any inputs into most of the big things that people buy tags for. They should take care of themselves. In fact, in a lot of places, the DNR is essentially, it's a Ponzi scheme.
We always get more invest so everybody make money.
They have zero inputs, and then they sell based off of other people's expenses. Property owners and farmers, every car driver in the state has had almost at least a run-in with a deer somehow.
A deer!
A female deer.
These are expenses, and the citizens and property owners and farmers already have these expenses. The farmers feed the deer and house them. Property owners do the same thing. And anyone who drives runs the risk of having to pay for the damage of hitting a deer. And so my question to you is what exactly does the DNR do, and why do they need to charge tags? Now, I could almost see, $2 for whatever the piece of paper costs and a little bit of, cheap fee, because I could see the need to maintain a population. But the DNR has a problem right now in most parts of the state, at least in the Lower Peninsula. They have too many deer and not enough hunters who want to hunt, because the DNR successfully pissed off enough hunters that they just quit. They're done with it. And it's the saddest thing in the world. And the DNR think, what regulations can we add, to bring more hunters in? And that's the exact opposite mindset. The regulations got you into the problem in the first place, but that's a whole nother topic. We can talk about that another time. Right now, it's the budget. Next time you buy a license, next time you talk to any DNR, ask them, what do you do to help me? What do you do to help the hunter? Because it seems to me that you're siphoning funds away from hunters and giving them to the hippies in the Parks and Recreation Department.
Yeah, man.
That doesn't help hunters. Maybe they maintain some roads or something, but serious hunters, they'll find a way into the woods.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I was disappointed to see this, but not surprised. I know there's something we can do to fix this. Like, if they're still going to insist to charge us money for our tags at this rate, we need to demand that they actually use it for promoting hunting and hunting animals. Like, this is ridiculous. It's stupid. Well, I've ranted on long enough. I'm sure all of you have thoughts and opinions on the DNR, whatever state you're in. I am in Michigan, and the Michigan DNR continues to do stupid things. The more I look, the more stupid they look. And I have to tell you, because You go on here and you tell me this isn't dumb, this isn't wrong, this isn't messed up in every way. The DNR has a purpose, and its purpose is to make sure we don't hunt any wildlife to extinction. And that's about it. Like, you draw the line there. Like, that's it. They don't need to do anything else. And even that, they probably don't have to do, because anyone who loves wildlife doesn't want to hunt them to extinction. So it's really redundant to have the DNR and conservation officers to begin with, because it's already illegal to do bad things. Why do you need DNR specifically to come police it when you have police? The DNR looks like more and more of a waste the more I look. It's becoming painfully obvious. But don't let that get you down. God is still in control, and Jesus is still my Savior and still wants to save you if you haven't been saved. Everything is looking up. You just have to look up too. And don't let the DNR ruin your joy of hunting in the outdoors. They'll try. Believe me, they'll try. And many, I'm sorry to say, they're succeeding at ruining that wonderful joy of God's great creation. They're ruining people's joy of that. And I can't say I blame them, but don't let them do it. Don't let them do it.
This is beautiful country here. Take a good look.
I am hunting. I've been doing lots of deer hunting. Not as much as I always hope, but that's how it always goes. I never get out in the field nearly as much as I really want to. I'm sick here, and then I'm at work there, and then, I have actually a life to do at home still, and I've seen lots and lots of young bucks, especially spikes and forkhorns. I think I saw a 10-point, some 9 points and 8 points, and one with a broken off main beam. Nothing I'm really ready to shoot yet. I really am trying to get them to an older age class, and none of them are quite there yet. At least not by my aging. Some really nice deer and some really fun hunting. We had a hunt where this buck comes out and I pass him, and he turns back around because another buck comes out, and he rams this buck and fights him, flips him over, right over, and in the process tips himself head first, flips himself over. That was fun. And overall, it's just been, I feel like I've been in the right spot to see the bucks. I just haven't seen that big monster buck yet. I did get some meat. That's always good. Some does. And I'm going to keep shooting for some does. But until something, spectacular happens, I'm going to just summarize it for you, because as much as I love hunting, editing together empty hunts gets kind of old after a while. Even if you enjoy them, they're kind of hard to want to put together just because they're kind of boring for my editor to want to put together. But also they're kind of boring content. So we'll keep coming to you with some other topics in the meantime. And when I do get the big buck, Lord willing, I'll bring it to you. Thanks for being in the field with us. It means a lot to me. Especially means a lot to me when you give us a thumbs up and subscribe too. But also, it means a lot when you comment. Whether someone would call it good or bad or otherwise comment, I appreciate all the comments. You sharing your opinion and your information is greatly appreciated. Until next time, we have lots of links in the description. We have t-shirts and stuff from a few Christian-based sponsors that we like. If you haven't, you really should consider Jesus to be your Lord and Savior. The time is coming to a close. The age of grace is coming to an end. Your opportunity to claim Him as your Lord and Savior is rapidly closing and ending. It could end this second, and I don't want you to get left out. We can talk about deer hunting and all these other things for eternity in the kingdom, but you have to have Jesus as your Savior. Nobody gets in the kingdom without Jesus as your Savior, because nobody's perfect. And my sincere wish is that you will at least consider it, if not do it right this instant, because this may be your last instant. Until next time, keep up with us. God bless you.